Welcome to the Lost Lowdown, podcast number 84, with your hosts, Claude and Justin.
What's up, guys?
We're here talking about The New Man in Charge, the Lost Season 6 epilogue. And, Justin, you've seen this before, right?
Yes, I have. I've seen it multiple times. You know, I couldn't really resist watching it.
Yeah.
I'm impressed that you pulled that off.
I somehow managed to go all of 2010 without seeing this, and really it's because I was afraid. Fear is a good motivator, and I don't want Lost to end, but it's got to end at some point. So we thought it'd be a good idea to do a little commentary podcast here, so you guys will be able to sync up to the epilogue with us and watch our. Listen to our live reaction, and then we will, of course, have a reaction to that little discussion. I'm sure there'll be things to talk about.
Yeah. The topic or two comes up.
Yes.
As you'll know if you've seen it, which you probably have.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everyone listening is a better Lost fan than me for that. I just put it out of my mind, and I was just like, I'll get to it, I'll get to it someday, and that day's now, so I was right.
Yes. I mean, there's other shows on, Lost is over, and it's kind of, I don't know. It's a weird thing to actually have this exist.
Yeah, especially since, the finale was so thoroughly satisfying, right?
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, though, I think it's true. Like, the finale is very, very final. And at the end of it, even if you are thinking they never answered X, Y, or Z, like, it ends on a very resolved note.
Yeah,
not
it's
at all.
hard not to feel like the book isn't closed.
Yeah.
Last chapter, the book is closed.
Yeah.
Even if there's more story or other answers.
Yeah. So I don't want to say too much about it before we start, but I think it's interesting they felt the need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
That they thought, we wrote this show and, we like how it is, but we realize that there are fans out there that care about a lot of stuff that we didn't really care about much.
Mm-hmm.
And so we put it, so we didn't put it in the show. But we want to make something to somehow tell them what our answers are.
Yeah. Well, I think it goes to show that, they wanted to have some little bonus, some bonus footage for the DVD, and they've always been pretty good about, giving back to the fans in that way.
Yeah. But it's, I guess because as you'll see when you watch it, it's such a contrast with the way they did Season 6 and the finale. Like, it's clearly, even if they are partially motivated just by having extra material, it's clearly like, for the hardcore fans, here's the stuff you want to see in this very concentrated form.
Nice.
Like, it's like nothing they ever did on the show at any point. And it almost makes you wonder, like, what does the show look like this?
Oh, yeah.
But whatever. You'll see what I mean when we start. It's strange.
Well, now my curiosity is more piqued than it ever has been. How did I go so long without watching this with that intro?
I don't know. I never gave it before.
Well, there's the answer. You did know. You lied to us. I guess so. All right, guys. Well, we will, I guess, do a little countdown here where you can sync up with us, and if you are so inclined. Otherwise, you'll just hear us making random comments. You won't know what we're looking at. So here we go. The New Man in Charge. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pharma Logistics Warehouse, Guam. Oh, wow, Guam, really? Oh, God, no. Oh, God, no.
I'm afraid so.
We're in Guam. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. We're watching all the Star Wars guys. They made all this Arma stuff. Oh my god. Who's that guy? Drones. Wow, this is crazy. You just got more than any of us got in 6 seasons. Ooh, he gave 2 answers. He did. Yeah, right, with 2 answers. These guys just watched the pilot or something. This is really like, season 1 centric answers.
It is. And season 2 with the Dharma.
Yeah, with Dharma. But just like the location of the island.
It's early shit, yeah.
If they start watching Lost episodes to explain where
I wish.
Oh man. Thanks for that. Oh, now you're Pierre Chang? Really?
Listen.
Why?
There goes that mystery.
But why? Why would you need to use an alias? Oh my effing hell. Yeah, because monkeys are too stupid to do that trick. This is how you lock people in a cage. Preferably Sawyer and Kate. That's where the brainwashing comes in. Mm-mm-mm. We call this dummy Carl. No relation. Do they really think the others worship a deity called Jacob? And they're not studying math?
No. But I think it's supposed to explain why Jacob's in the video.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because that station's specifically for hostiles to be brainwashed.
Yeah.
Into what, though?
Well,
why would you brainwash them?
They interrogate them, and then they brainwash them to make them forget because it breaks the truth.
Okay.
That's what he says.
But that just gave us more questions. Oh, I was right. He's like tormented. It's like a Twilight Zone episode. These guys who are just going about their daily lives, a mystery man comes in and wrecks it with questions and mysteries. Wow, Walt was just like he did in season 1. What? What's the significance of that?
I still don't know what this means.
It's something from an island.
Maybe the others fed those to him. I don't know.
Don't you like granola bars? Man, Santa Rosa is like the least secure institution. So true. That's not creepy. that band starts flying, and they take the brightest star towards Neverland. I'm going to turn it off.
I just realized that's how you logically end that. The band like flies away.
We get 88 miles per hour.
What? The final law.
That's it.
That is it.
That's it. The story was just starting.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
The story just starts, and that's the end of Lost.
Wow. Wow, indeed. Well, I can't say that I regret waiting, because, it was a lot of answers to very things that I don't care about. And some things that are like, oh, okay. But yeah, you can definitely tell. I know what you mean now about specific fan-centric answers.
Yeah.
You know, why was he using an alias? Because he didn't want his name to get out. But why?
Yeah. He tells people his name.
Yeah.
It's not a
Who
secret
cares?
his name.
He's doing important work. Maybe he wants people to know his name. It still didn't really explain. It explained why he uses an alias.
Yeah.
It doesn't explain why he doesn't want his name out.
Right. That's what Lost always
They
does.
replaced one.
Yeah, they move it back a step.
But it's like he didn't say, like, I don't want my name out because, boom. It's just like, and it's an retcon.
Yeah.
You know, it just bridges the gap without actually explaining everything.
Yeah.
Well, that was cool. I mean, the whole thing with the guys who are just loading the, it's weird because they're like, we've been working here for 20 years. The Dharma has, so it's weird that it almost syncs up when they started working as Dharma.
Yeah.
When the Purge or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's kind of weird. So it almost seems like there were people before them. It's not like
so.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I didn't catch. Did it say what station they were at or what facility that was on their shirts? Do you know?
No, I don't remember.
I couldn't tell. But
it seems like it's just a warehouse.
It was just but they had something on their shirts.
Yeah,
I don't know what it said though.
Yeah.
The whole thing with the
so obviously that's the food job.
That's where the food job comes
Guess
from.
why they're having food jobs, guys.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that so many times. That was a theory. Like,
yeah.
Okay, Dharma just continues to send food there.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of almost automated.
It's automated, yeah.
Yeah.
And they just load the pallets, and I guess he said drones.
Yeah, drones.
Like drone airplanes.
I think that's what he's saying.
So
there's no one in the airplane.
In the 70s, Dharma had just built an infinite number of drones which take off and land back to their facility on their own with no other maintenance, because all these two guys are doing is load boxes.
Right.
So maybe there's other two guys who are, repairing and fixing the drones the last couple decades.
I hope so.
Ben goes to fire them later in another epilogue.
Yes.
Coming back for Walt was cool, and saying that they're going to help Michael was cool. Finally Michael, but it's a little too late. They didn't do him that great of justice in the show with his,
Yes. I agree with you. Like, for me, the most fun thing about the epilogue is at least the suggestion that Michael just not damn
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah, which I thought was it just painted that whole church scene at the end.
Yeah.
It's like Michael was there at the beginning as much as you people were,
mm-hmm.
and now he's just stuck on the island whispering.
Yeah, totally.
It was bitter to me to do that, and yeah, I agree. It's kind of not enough, but
mm-hmm.
I still
it's. I think he should have maybe specifically said, help your dad move on or something.
Yeah.
Not just help him. That's got to be what he means.
I think so.
But since they're not going to show us, just tell us what the outcome's going to be so we can get that at least.
Yeah.
So I would have been a little bit more, but that's weird. It was weird when Hurley said, "You've always belonged on the island." Really? Why? He wasn't part of the group that went to, to the afterlife together. Those people belong. It's like I don't really know if that's not what I get from Lost. I feel like unless the idea, and that's what's weird is because Hurley's not part of his group. You know, Walt wasn't there with the main group. So Walt is going to go back with Ben and Hurley, who are going to leave him in, you know, afterlife-wise.
Yeah.
So I don't know who his group of people are going to be that he transitions with, but to me, that would have to be true for that to make sense, that he will always belong on the island, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think they're telling us that, but I agree that I don't feel like they even set that up.
No.
There was no sense in the show that he belongs on the island. The thing was, there's something with him. He's special.
Yeah.
And they say that again, but they still, you know.
And it doesn't, but you know what? It's not like he's special because he went to the island.
No.
He was special before.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's weird.
Yeah,
It's weird.
Got some weird thing on his own.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I mean, it's almost like, I don't know. I don't know how to fill in that story. He goes to the island and talks to his dad and says, I don't know, I forgive you or something, and then he can just move on. Is that all it is? I don't know. And is it special, like, he can see dead people? I mean, they never really established that.
No.
So, I don't know.
Well, Michael should, I mean, Hurley should be able to see Michael possibly.
Yes, yeah.
And I think Michael should be able to appear to whomever he wants to. Right? Can't apparitions do that? Can't the ghosts do that?
I don't know.
Oh, I guess most of them always
like Isabella
always.
couldn't. You know,
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sure she would have wanted to.
That's right.
So I think the show's inconsistent about it. But in the end, it was supposed to be, you know, you have to be special to see this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't know.
But it feels like a retcon of what special means.
Yeah.
Like, they sort of forgot, like, you got telekinetic powers. You can remote view yourself. Like, all that stuff is just not really relevant.
Yeah, that little line about, like, I know how hard it was for you to, you know, to have to pretend to be someone you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why?
Yeah, is he talking about Henry Gale?
I don't know.
Like, I have no idea. Besides Henry Gale, I have no idea who that means.
Yeah, I mean, but why is it that hard for Walt? I mean, he's not using his real name, but other than that, like, I don't know.
Why is that hard?
Why is that hard?
I mean, I guess, like, because the crazy stuff happened with him and the island and his dad.
I guess maybe it's just saying he can't tell the truth about his past.
Yeah, it's sort of like what happened with Hurley.
Yeah.
The lie and all that.
Oh, geez, the lie. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. I do think it's weird that Walt, like, ends up in the mental institution. Like,
he seemed very fine and well adjusted when Locke went to visit him.
Yep.
You know, he seemed totally fine.
Yeah.
It just seemed like they wanted to rescue him.
Yeah.
They wanted him to be rescued somehow.
Right.
You know? And he ends up at Santa Rosa.
Yeah. That's what it too.
There's nothing to do with Santa Rosa but play checkers, apparently.
Yeah.
I guess Mr. Echo was too busy to show up for chess.
Yeah. No. Don't be Mr. Echo.
The little business about Ben sort of tidying up loose ends, you know, that all seems like Ben's idea. You know, I don't know. It just, the way everything kind of played out, it just gave me the sense that Ben is sort of directing things. You know, Hurley, let me go in and get Walt and talk to him. You know, let me. Well, I'll just go visit the Dharma guys, and you know, it's just like it seemed like Hurley. It didn't seem like Ben was in charge, but it didn't seem like Hurley was in charge. You know, I thought we would get a sense about how does Hurley run the island.
Well, I think, that's the thing. We don't even get the island at all.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, the original thing with Ben and Hurley was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know anything about the island. Like, help me, Ben. So he is supposed to be like, he does know more than Hurley does. So maybe it makes sense because I don't think this is supposed to be that long after 2007. So I feel like, you know, Ben has Hurley's full support, but he is kind of doing stuff on his own.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're right, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and plus Hurley probably doesn't. Yeah, I would imagine that. Yeah, Hurley doesn't know what to do. Like, what should we do now, dude?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess they go down and close down this Dharma thing. That's, you know, I don't know. Stop sending food.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Who's paying those guys paychecks?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I thought when they were like, no, Dharma can't be, defunct, because I thought they were going to say something about we're still getting paid or we're still.
That'd be harder to answer.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's that question.
Or maybe they live in that facility,
mm-hmm.
and they have all the food that they want. They still don't explain where the food is coming from, kind of like.
Right.
They explain maybe where the
labels.
The labels.
They basically tell you, like, I guess the idea is they buy unlabeled stuff and
mm-hmm.
put their shit on it.
Yeah.
They don't manufacture the food itself.
Yeah, they just buy it. So, yeah. I just think who's ever the accountant for the Dharma Initiative is really bad, because somehow they set up all these automated systems where various vendors and merchants are paid at the end of time.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Even if all the members of the organization are dead, don't worry. These contracts will still hold. You'll still get your money. Because they're buying Costco.
The 15th and the 30th.
They're buying stuff from Costco and Sam's every month, and how they get all this bulk food.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
I need an epilogue about that.
Dharma's
crazy.
David. Dharma's totally crazy.
Yeah, it still doesn't. That's the genius and the madness of Lost is.
Yeah.
It doesn't put to bed any. It just like those guys. You could binge like.
I know.
You can ask one question, which
is
already like, precarious, because one question is just, right, like that'll satisfy anybody.
Right.
And then he goes, you know what? Not only does he give the first guy 2 answers, but he's like, I'll show you a video.
No.
And oh man, and that
which gives them like
20
more. They don't have to. Yeah, they don't even ask. The question.
It was an answer.
Because that video was just about the Polish.
Yeah, it was fairly sadistic. It was like, you guys were just having a totally fine 20 years, and then Ben shows up. Yeah. And I think at the same time, there's a meta thing going on in that scene. Like, you can't go, like, what? We don't understand. Yeah. This is my favorite TV show. Yes. I'm not ready for it to end. Yeah, but it's like, okay, I'll let you ask one question apiece. That's the kind of scene that Lost never did. Yeah. They never had someone in the know just sit down and answer questions for, 10 minutes or so. People promised to do that. Yeah. People promised to answer questions. Yeah. Oh, we'll talk about this later. Yeah. Saeed was like, no. Conversation postponed. Yeah. Yeah, but they really just didn't deliver stuff like that. So that part's weird. And just kind of, for those guys, it's ridiculous. For the large implications, it's kind of insane. Like, okay, so I'll just bring up a few things. Like, the Hurley bird gets answered. Turns out the Hurley bird is a genetically altered bird that Dharma. That's the kind of thing that it's like, it almost makes it seem like, since fans are interested in the Hurley bird, that they're kind of like, hey, we'll make this way more important to the show just to please you, since you're already interested in it. Yes. Because otherwise, that's stupid. Like, really, guys? And what is it? What do they call it? A high bird? High bird, yeah. And because it says high. Yeah. And it's just sort of a oh, no. I think it's a play on hybrid. Oh, okay. Oh, and it's a bird. And it's a bird. Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought they were saying it makes a high sound, and that's what we hear when. Oh, okay. No, I think because I think they're like genetically combining different birds or something, and that makes it a high bird. Yikes. Yeah. And it ends up saying Hurley, so it's sort of like, again, classic Lost. Yeah. I thought they were trying to explain why it sounds like it's saying Hurley with the name of the bird. Yeah. That's a separate thing. Yeah. I think that part's just weird. Yeah. Wow. So we get, and it's like, why not, I feel like the next cage was going to be, here we're trying to make tree frogs really annoying. We're trying to make frogs as annoying, crossing them with this is the whole bunch. And, oh no, one got out. Oh well, no one will find it. Oh God. Yeah, honestly, that's on the level of some of the stuff they're answering. Oh, totally. That's pretty ridiculous. Okay, so you get some stuff about the polar bears,
they're going to send him to the orchid and train him. And I feel like it almost seems like they're trying to explain why the donkey-larry was frozen.
You know what, I honestly think
in Tunisia,
yeah.
the way you do when you turn the donkey, it's like they sent him down there.
I honestly think they're trying to suggest that they were trying to train polar bears to turn the wheel.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the way it comes across, and like one of them did. Now, I mean, the problem with that is like they were totally cut off from the wheel area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the wheel area, they had to like break through to that chamber to even get to it.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the frozen part.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on the other hand, there's the jacket that then puts on, this Dharma jacket. It makes it seem like, you know, they do go down to the donkey.
Maybe it had frozen more or something. Maybe when they were doing the experiment 20 years ago, it was easier for the bear to get down there. There was some way, and maybe like over time, you know, the part that they break through is just because it seemed like, you know, because Ben blew up the orchid little chamber to get to it. So there has to have been another entrance, right? Like that they would have used.
Well, there was the well.
Well, the bears going down the well is just as crazy as the bear going down. So.
Yeah. But they never showed another.
They never showed another place.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
It is weird.
And what's weird is they weren't training the bears to turn a wheel. They were training a bear to push a lever and then push a button. So that's also strange. Like it seems like if you want an animal to do something, you should train them to do the thing you want it to do.
Instead of this more like
we're
going to teach it problem solving.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it can do anything.
Once we get its spatial awareness down, then we'll tackle pushing something.
Yeah.
Turning a wheel.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't quite make sense. But it seems like that's what they're suggesting.
Yeah, I agree. So that goes back to the whole cages thing with the stuff. Like now they're saying this is what it does, this is why they have that there. Okay, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then they throw in a little line about it. They're pregnant. Don't bring them near the orchid. And then it's like, what?
Yeah,
that's the pregnancy.
That's the caveat of. I just like that. That's the caveat of using polar bears in this experiment, just in case they're pregnant. Like that just doesn't seem like that's your main concern all the time.
I agree.
You know, like why bring that up? You know.
Well, I think they're trying to answer.
Of course, bring it up because it's going to. Yeah. So now they're saying. So they're saying that Dharma was aware that the orchid station had anti-fertility effects.
Yeah. Absolutely. And this is the first video, so they're aware of it, like, pretty early on.
And so Ben is showing this video.
Yeah.
Benjamin Linus.
Yeah. So
Benjamin Linus, leader of the others.
Yeah.
Benjamin Linus, leader of the others, who hired Juliet.
Also
work on fertility.
Leader of the others to occupy the orchid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably had access to this tape. And could have just found out probably.
But no, I'm saying like how is he not reacting to this? Retcon wise, you know, like
well see that's what I'm saying, like it seems like you know, it seems like a bad story point.
Yeah.
Like he should have seen this before now. On the other
all
hand,
that work Juliet was doing
is,
yeah, exactly. It's like he should have known that it's that station and that was the problem the whole time.
He should have shown Juliet that.
Yeah.
Like it has something to do with radiation or electromagnetism from this station that Dharma has. She never found that out.
She never found it out.
And yeah, he's not. I mean, I feel like at this point he's definitely seen it, so he's not gonna be surprised when we show it to the Dharma people. But like, it's weird to put that in there because they want to answer the question, but then it's like, oh, fuck, it's Ben.
Yeah, but it's Ben.
Ben was the one who was obsessed with that
exactly. And it doesn't explain Toweret. You know, it doesn't explain why the Egyptians built this fertility statue.
No.
So that's kind of weird.
It is weird.
I think that's a lame retcon. They shouldn't. That's something I would rather not say that it was a Dharma station. I'd rather not have that as an answer for the fertility problem.
It's a weird answer
because it's not that great of an explanation.
No.
And it makes Ben's character seem worse.
Yeah.
It makes that whole effort just kind of stupid. Like, oh, well,
And it's really, I mean, they're not even saying, they're just saying don't bring him near the orchid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if the others just would get away from that area, they'd be fine.
Totally.
I mean, if he heard that, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's like Juliet's whole story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that just gets shit on by that.
Yeah.
Reveal.
Totally. Yeah, that's pretty lame. That's a pretty lame one.
It is. I don't like that one.
Yeah.
But they felt the need to put it in there. I guess they thought, people did ask about it, I guess. What's up with that? Okay, so then we get Room 23.
Room 23.
Turns out it's a brainwashing room for hostiles they've interrogated. And that explains, like, Jacob references in it. They actually know about Jacob.
That's kind of weird. That's really weird. I guess because they kidnap hostiles and interrogate them, and they said we're doing this for Jacob.
Yeah. But
that's what's weird is he's saying it's a deity, which is basically to say it's not a normal man.
Yeah.
And that's strange that the others view him like that. Like, well, they probably haven't ever seen him.
Right.
So he's got that quality, but they kind of think he's specifically supernatural.
The only ones who've seen him, like Richard, he did grant him immortality. Something's going on.
Can a deity do that? I guess. Yeah.
I think the others are supposed to sort of worship Jacob as like some kind of higher being.
They never really did any spiritual stuff, though. I mean, obviously Jacob doesn't have much doctrine. But,
right. Zero.
Yeah, he's negative about it.
Yeah, anti-doctrine.
He won't tell you anything to do. He's the most hands-off deity ever, except when, he's got specific things he wants to do.
Right.
Okay, so that was a little weird that they are aware of that.
It is.
It's weird that they would brainwash the hostiles back into believing Jacob. Like, it seems like if you're going to brainwash them, you should brainwash them into thinking Jacob doesn't exist. You're going to go through the trouble of brainwash. Was the idea to like release them back as if nothing ever happened? Yeah. Oh, I see.
Yeah, they didn't want them to know that they were interrogated.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so they don't want them changed.
Yeah. Okay. So if they're, I think that's the idea. And it more or less works. And I think the weird thing about that part of the video is, like, it never really occurred to me that's why Room 23 was there. I don't remember ever having that theory.
Yeah, I mean, because we don't see, I mean, is this the room Carl was in specifically?
Yeah.
And
Room 23 on the Hydra Island.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we never came up with that they were trying to make them forget that they had been interrogated.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing you write an epilogue to.
Right.
Yeah, because that's so weird, because especially the context we saw it in, where Ben was using it on Carl, so we think, you would think Ben would, that's weird for Ben to use it.
It is.
It's supposed to make you forget and remember you love Jacob or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, he did overreact, didn't he? Yeah, it seemed like he had like no other option. I'm just gonna try this. Whatever this does to Carl will be better than him trying to sleep with my daughter.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like maybe he's trying to get him to forget about Alex.
Yeah.
Maybe he can erase his memory that far. I don't know. I do remember a little bit where they after they rescue Carl, Carl's like in a daze, and he's like, God loves Jacob, and he's just kind of, chanting things from the thing. So they sort of portray like the idea that it just kind of, wipes you clean and gives you these specific messages to focus on.
But I'm sure it only can probably erase a certain amount of your memory in the recent past.
Right.
So it's like,
He's probably known Alex for a pretty long time.
Yeah, I think you're up together.
It's not, yeah. It was a bad plan. It didn't work.
Yeah,
obviously.
totally.
So, yeah. Then, for all his tactical brilliance, He really did some ridiculous things over and over.
The things fatherhood makes you do.
Yeah. That's the moral.
What else is the big reveals? Are the answers?
It's a pretty minor thing, but like we talked about a lot. That Walt, no one ever told Walt that Michael was dead, and then in this one he just, my dad's dead.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point between when we saw him before with like Locke and Hurley, when they're not telling him that, I guess if it's long enough, he just assumes he's dead at some point.
Mm-hmm.
There's really no indication that it's just weird. It was weird. It's frustrating to me that they kept putting that off. They never did it, and now he just knows it.
And they just skipped over.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like why not have someone tell him?
Because then he has to react to learn his dad is dead, and that's the whole.
They don't want to do.
That's the whole bit. That's the whole whatever. They don't want. They don't want necessarily to have it. Ben be the one to say no, your dad's dead. Yeah, I mean, because that's. You got to deal with the consequences of that, and that takes up a little story time. And if they don't, it might just like they can skip over that. Just it's not about him reacting; it's about Walt needing to go help him.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it would be maybe a little weird too to have it like if he had just found out his dad was dead, and then to go, hey, how can I help him? No, he goes, yeah, your dad died. And then he goes, oh, no, that's sad. Then he has to be sad. They go, no. You can still help him because his ghost is on the island.
Right.
So that's kind of a back and forth emotionally that would have been weird. So because he's going to go see his dad.
Yeah.
So it'd be weird to kind of go, my dad's dead, but oh, no, he's not.
Right.
And somehow
it's the other way around. He already thinks he's dead, and now
he's alive. And now, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's more direct that way.
It is. So that's probably what he did. They didn't want to do a big scene with Walt and series, but come find out Michael was dead because they have a lot of other stuff they've got to spend time on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it's just frustrating dramatically, like for the character.
Yeah.
It just sucks that we never get that. And it made me angry at the characters for not telling him.
Mm-hmm.
For no reason.
Because they didn't want to deal with it themselves.
Yeah.
Locke was the one who should have told him.
Yeah.
He was the last one to talk to him, right?
Yeah. Well, technically, Hurley was after that, because when he talked to Hurley, they're already talking about Jeremy Benson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I agree, Locke should have. I think both of them. I mean, I understand they don't want to do it, but I feel like they should have told him. Yeah. I mean, they don't actually know that Michael's dead, but they can at least tell him what they know.
Locke was like, last I heard, your father was on a freighter near the island.
Exactly. That's another Locke lie.
His head was blown off, but that's the last I heard.
Yeah.
No, that's Locke for you.
It really is. That's shit.
Somehow he just knew his dad was dead.
Yeah.
They totally skipped over that.
Yeah. And so I guess the other thing, probably the unanswered question, among many, but of this thing is, what's the job?
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to have Walt do?
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like there's something his dad, and then there's this job thing, and the general idea that he belongs on the island. But it seems like
maybe that's the job. Like he's going to take over for Hurley.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you think that's what they're going for with that?
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, it seems early to sort of, I'm ready to be replaced now. It's been like 3 years. That's all I got. But
maybe there's, training.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably like, I would almost suspect that if this wasn't, just an epilogue, that job thing wouldn't have come up. It'd be like, let's go help your dad, and the job thing is the later plot point. But they have to throw it in there since this is all we're gonna get.
They have to tell us everything.
Yeah. So it makes it seem like it would come to fruition sooner. But I would suspect that's what they're alluding to is he'll take over for Hurley one day.
Yeah. So, like, all that stuff's cool and all.
But you're Shania Twain right now. You're just not impressed.
Yeah, and I think it just, watching, a little bit of the pilot earlier, it just really highlights how, in no way does that really resolve what they set up for Walt.
No.
Like,
not at all.
That doesn't do it. I do appreciate the character element of he finds out his dad's dead, he's going to go help him. Michael's not screwed and he's not screwed. That's
totally good.
I appreciate that. But on the other hand, like, the stuff they told us about Walt and all the build-up about him, I don't know. Is it enough to say you belong on the island? You're going to protect the island? Is that enough? I don't think it is.
I almost feel like maybe, when they mentioned the job, I was thinking maybe, and I don't think they need Walt for this, but maybe he can help all the stuck people on the island or something.
Oh.
It'll start with his dad, but maybe like, since it gave me that, I kind of thought that since Ben is tidying up business, that's some pretty serious business they need tidying up, is getting these stuck souls off the island.
Right.
So they can everything can be kosher with the island.
Yeah.
No one's sending food. No one around the world is kind of wrapped up in island drama anymore. That's kind of the gist I got that they were trying to go for. Like, let's stop the island from sucking people's lives and, that kind of thing. People who don't need to be involved, and which makes sense. So maybe that's the job to an extent, but I don't know why they would need Walt for that.
Right.
Because Hurley can see dead people.
Yeah.
He's the leader.
Yeah.
But they've given something to do for a while. There's probably a lot of them. I mean, how many people got
a ton?
How many people? I mean, I don't know how you get stuck, but there's plenty.
It seems like it seems like it's connected to what you do or how you feel about what you did and how much you're ready to let go of it. And if you're harping on you're guilty about something, whatever, like it ends up. I still don't understand how the island specifically is tied in. Like, people all around the world, there's people that die there, whatever. But that's a place where you just you can just spend forever not being able to let go or move on or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think the clairvoyant stuff, the birds flying into the window, and appearing to Shannon talking backwards and wet. There was just too much, and also, at least early on, the fact that the others are kidnapping him. There was there was too much there to say, like, something's going to happen with Walt at some point. This is going somewhere.
Yeah.
He's got some crazy abilities, and that's going to matter later. And it's almost like that's what they did with Desmond or something.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I imagine Walt did.
It's almost like they, Walt and Desmond are both special. Desmond's, specialness is he can withstand electromagnetism or something like that. And they found a use for his special quality. They never quite did, they never, no one on the island, well, and maybe until now, maybe this is Walt's big specialness will come in handy for the island's ultimate goal or something.
Yeah.
But, they didn't get to it on the show proper.
Yeah. And this just kind of seems like I don't know. It doesn't really seem like it pays that off to me. It does pay off the character stuff. But that's what Lost wanted to do. Even in the Answers epilogue, they're still kind of making it, the satisfying part is the character stuff.
Yeah.
Here's some answers.
Here's some answers.
Is this what the Whispers are? Yeah.
Sure they are. Why not? What else would they be?
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, at the time when I originally watched it, before the Lost Encyclopedia came out, these were not the questions I really wanted answered. Listeners, a lot lowdown know some of the questions that frustrated me about Lost, and
we went through a whole list.
Yeah, there's a whole list. But for me, maybe this is just my taste, I'm mainly interested in the supernatural stuff about the island. Dharma's mysteries, I didn't care about after, season 5.
Yeah.
Because it was clear that Dharma, for all their coolness, they weren't doing as much as everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That in a nutshell is Lost, is no one knows as much as you think they do. No one is as interesting as you think they are.
Yeah.
When you keep going to the next level above,
right.
It's just a series of people who really were just coping with the place that they were in for whatever their own motivations were.
Yeah. Yeah. So why they have polar bears there, stuff like why the Hurley, why they created the Hurley bird.
Yeah. And that's the kind of thing that I think, your casual Lost fans won't even know what that's referencing.
Yeah, it's pretty, who even bother.
Yeah.
And it's all old school stuff. And so, I'm still wanting cabin stuff and ash stuff and, things about the...
Well, and I'll say this. It's easy to answer Dharma stuff because it can all be recorded in a video that you can transfer from Betamax to a DVD. And play conveniently on your Dharma Brain television set.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's something, that's definitely something they would go for because it's easy to do.
Right.
Versus how do you answer the cabin in this situation?
Right.
All you can do is have Ben talk about it or something. You can't really cut to footage or show anything.
No, for the scene they set up, that's the kind of answers we were going to get. But what I'm saying is when they designed this epilogue, they decided, here's how we're going to stage it.
Totally.
And I think that set them up. The food drops is another example. I did not need to know that's why the food drops are happening. It is an unanswered question, but, I feel like the answer can't be that interesting.
And it was pretty close to what we had guessed when we first saw the food drop.
Yeah.
When it was clear that Dharma was defunct. And how does the food keep coming? Well, somehow it's automated. Somehow who's ever doing it doesn't know, and that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, and Lost has a lot of answers like that. It should be no surprise that's the answer.
What was the thing? So they were saying that they were getting confirmation messages from the lamppost.
Yeah. Yeah, the lamppost sends a signal about where the island is. Because the lamppost
is tracking it.
Yeah.
Okay. The guy was like, how? The coordinates change all the time.
Mm-hmm. See how it moves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well,
how does the island move? Now, there's an unanswered question. But, what are they going to say for that? I don't think Ben knows, so even if he did want to answer that question,
it just moves.
Yeah. It's a magical island. It moves.
Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't it move? It's got a light shade.
Yeah. Yeah. And, the smoke monster, all that stuff just really got messed up in season 6.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just frustrating to me to be like, here's my big answers video.
Yeah.
And then it just slowly dawns on me, this is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
The stuff I really didn't care about.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part.
Surprise.
Yeah, so it's a weird note to go out on for Lost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of why I waited. To an extent,
Yeah, I think the finale really is a much.
The finale is,
for the show.
Definitely much better, and this is what this is what you get from the epilogue. It's a little bit of something extra.
Yeah.
It's really I guess that's what I expected to a degree.
I thought it was going to be scenes with Ben and Hurley on the island.
I think I definitely thought it would be more about them running the island and maybe deciding what to do next versus they have already decided and they're sort of in the middle of carrying out some plan.
Right. Yeah.
But I guess this is the stuff they could film again or something. Maybe they didn't, they didn't have the sets up in Hawaii anymore or whatever. I don't know when they shot this stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think they actually shot at the same time they shot the finale. So I think they could have done Island Scene.
Yeah.
Maybe they did.
Might be more expensive to.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Another thing that we kind of brought up, like, it's kind of ridiculous, but like the Dharma bus, that's there, like, those are on the island.
Yeah, that's why I was expecting it to fly away.
Are we supposed to think that's how they got there?
I honestly think Hurley probably can make them transport. Like, and since Hurley that's his.
I was gonna say, like, does that? Yeah.
Hurley is tied to those vans,
right?
And so I think it seems to suggest that, yeah.
So does that tell us something like, Jacob could leave the island in this crazy way, like given a car?
Well, I think he can bring things. Yeah, he can maybe bring things with him. When he transports.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess.
I feel like there's no, like, they didn't ship that bus from the island back to the land just to drive it around. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right.
But
still, it's crazy.
Unless there's a deleted scene where
not at this point,
where that factory where they're making the Dharma stuff has vans there or something. Maybe it has a couple of old vans parked there or something.
Okay.
So yeah, exactly. It's kind of like maybe.
Damn.
Deleted scene.
Even at the end,
deleted scene. So maybe that, but I think honestly, I imagine that Hurley can probably make them just transport.
Yeah,
that seems like it's in the realm of possibility.
And if he could do that, it seems like something he would do. Because of the bus connection.
Totally.
So,
and there's no easy way off the island.
No.
Physically, I mean, like transportation-wise, I mean, they don't have the submarine.
And also, there was a question of how to get Desmond home. So maybe that's sort of.
Totally.
Tells you they could just kind of hop in a bus and go. Yeah. Where do you want to go, Desmond?
This bus goes anywhere you want.
All those powers and just that's all he had. I mean, it's weird. Weird to have all these crazy forces, but when it comes down to it, it's just gonna hang out and drink wine and do nothing most of the time.
Yeah. I think Jacob didn't make the most of his time as leader of the island. He was way too wrapped up in, the bulk of Lost, which is to say characters coming to the island and battling it out, which gave us a great TV show. He was way too involved in that.
Yeah.
That is to say, he could have used his powers to do other things that probably would have kept the island safe and did other crazy stuff. But that's the show he got, is he was invested in bringing people there to prove his brother / evil incarnate.
Evil incarnate, yeah. Yes. I don't know why he wants to prove evil incarnate wrong. But
for the respect,
I guess.
Does he want evil to respect you? There's no respect like evil's respect. Yeah, it's interesting to see what they decide to answer at the last minute, but I agree. Most of the topics they decide to go for aren't the most interesting ones.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't think it actually wasn't as bad as I worried that it might be.
Yeah. Mhm.
When I originally envisioned this, I imagined a cheesy series of comedy bits with Ben and Hurley on the island.
Yeah, totally.
With really simple problems.
Yeah, they're both trying to sleep in the same hammock.
Yeah.
This island isn't big enough for the both of us. Yeah, it is, dude.
Close enough. But yeah, so I appreciate that, they did in a way go all out with answers.
Yeah, so it was a cornucopia of answers. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
More answers than they ever had in any single.
There was the most answers in 12 minutes, the most answers per minute than, any other little bit.
Yeah. And it's just weird to check them off. oh, there's that. And we're on to the next one.
I thought they were going to go chronologically through the show of, like, here's season 1 stuff, here's season 2 stuff, here's season 3 stuff, here's season 4 stuff.
Yeah.
Because they were starting from almost the beginning, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, Polar Bear.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. I didn't need to know that much about that either. But.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you made a list of the top sort of lost topics or like identifiable lost, you know, things, the polar bear's up there. So I think, you know, that's why it always gets talked about when they have the opportunity to do little things.
Yeah.
It was such a big moment and such a what the WTF moment.
Yeah.
But again, it's such a ridiculous little thing that it doesn't matter. But they keep coming back to it because it's, you know, it's one of the top things about Lost. You know,
they didn't really have a big place for it in the story.
Exactly.
But everyone remembers it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it definitely comes out. Okay.
The comic book. Yeah, remember when we were thinking like Walt had manifested that polar bear because he saw the comic book, and that's why it came towards him.
Right.
Just like the bird came towards him. Like
it was a logical conclusion. Yeah.
Logical conclusions have no place on Lost.
Not at all.
Well, it's nice to finally get to see the last new footage of Lost, and that pretty much is the little milestone for the Lost Lowdown. You know,
it is
the last review of the new stuff, the new man in charge, and the last new Lost. It's old now, but it was new.
Well, yeah. Still the new egg.
Yeah, the newest. They will always be.
Yes.
Unless they do something else.
Well, they won't though.
No.
No. I expect the most that will ever happen is some kind of remake.
Oh, jeez.
I think they definitely could remake the show.
Oh, they will. Hopefully it'll be a long time.
Yeah, I hope so. It probably will be.
Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We will be back very soon. We're going to be continuing our commentary podcast, which will be the long-term Lost Lowdown project as we record a commentary track for every episode.
Finally, now we know everything.
We know everything we're going to know about Lost. All the footage is out there. So we've already done the pilot commentary podcast. So the next one's going to be episode 2. Is it 3 or 2?
It depends on how you count it.
Okay.
Well, count the pilot is 1, 2, or just 1.
Yeah. The next episode after the pilot, Tabula Rasa. Until then, thanks and namaste.
Namaste and good luck.